Hello folks, welcome back to my channel, Dr. Cholos Vlog for Kali exercise. Here we are again. So we are off to lesson number 6 and I hope you still remember lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, in lesson 1 we took up the basic moves, basic strikes for Kali, and that's the letter X or the chorus. And then we had lesson number 2, which is the inverted 8 or the figurang walo. And then we covered plancha, and tigbas. Okay, plancha, tigbas, and then we had lesson number 4, which is actually how to juggle from right to left. Okay, that's a transfer of the weapon from right to left, forehand. Okay, and then for lesson 5 we had backhand. We covered all the possible moves, which are the chorus and the figurang walo, the plancha, and the tigbas. Okay, so lesson 5 was the backhand, and now we are in lesson 6. Okay, I told you beforehand last time is that lesson 6 will incorporate stabbing into the strikes for Kali. Okay, so this time I'd like to introduce to you a pattern called hiwa, meaning slice, and dunggab, meaning stabbing. So it's a move, or these are basic moves in terms of how we slash and how we stab. So we have a pattern as well, which is the tatsulok or tatsulok or triangle in English. Okay, so what's this all about? The pattern is called a triangle in English, or in local language we call it tatsulok or triangle. Okay, which means to say we will be using a pattern called the triangle, that is drawing a triangle in front of you, upright triangle. Okay, we will be taking up next time the inverted triangle. Okay, but this time we will talk about upright triangle, where the apex is up, the pointed tip is up, and the base is down, with 3 sides and 3 angles. Okay, so Kali tatsulok using hiwa, meaning slice or slash, and dunggab, meaning stabbing. Okay, stab. So basically the same move. We use the triangle pattern. We draw a big triangle pattern in front of you. Okay, whichever direction you may choose, whether it's going up, or going down. These are the slices. Okay, but then we can incorporate with them at the angles how to stab. So the angles are the stabbing points. Okay, meaning you have the abdomen or the chest, and above is the chest. Okay. Okay, so here are the mechanics on how we do it. Okay, for slices, I guess everybody knows about how to do the slice. Okay, it's the same principle. The slice uses this. Okay, and the slice actually is very much dependent on a steady wrist, meaning to say the wrist stays in its position. That's the slice, and then it changes direction only to form the opposite angle. Okay, and in the same manner the base is made the same way to the slice. Okay, when you do the upright, it's the same principle. It's basically steady wrist. Okay, but then okay, I think this is what we have to focus our attention, because a lot of practitioners I've seen in YouTube does it differently, and I hope you get you release all of these things first if you have learned it before, and try to see how I do it. Okay, when we stab, okay, first principle in stabbing, usually a stab goes along with a slash. It commonly goes together. Like for example, I do a stab, immediately I do a slash. I do a stab, I do a slash, I do a stab, I do a slash. Okay, while the principle holds on that when you stab, you have also to do a slashing action. Okay, so when you stab, do a slashing action, stab, then slash. Okay, that's the principle. But of course, you may just stab and do another slash in different direction. Okay, you may do that, but commonly, especially when you stab, you make a slashing move. The principle is held, especially when you do that, when you use the knife. I'll show you how to do this tatsulok pattern. Okay, when you stab, you slash because you would want the knife to hit and then to make the wound bigger. Okay, the principle is the same. The objective is to disable the muscle group. Okay, when you do a stab in the abdomen, you increase the wound by doing a slash. Okay, I'll show you the difference between how we stab using a bolo and how we stab using the knife. Now, I'm starting to show you how we stab using the bolo because it's more difficult and a lot of misunderstanding how to stab using the stick or using a bolo. Okay, so that's the first principle. A slash with a stab. Okay, a slash with a stab or a stab with a slash. Stab. So that's the principle. When you do a slash, most often time you would also do a stab, and a slash and a stab, or a stab and a slash for that matter. It could be vice versa. When you stab, you slash. When you stab, you slash. Or when you slash, you also stab. So that's how it goes. Again, the rules are not steadfast because you may slash and stab, or slash, 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 then stab, and stab, and stab. Okay? But generally in practice, okay, as we practice how to do it, because most of the time it should be done with a combination. Okay? Whether you stab at the lower angles or at the higher angles, you always incorporate or you go by a combination of slash and strike. Okay, now, second point is how we stab. Okay. What we see in the internet is when they use, let's discuss this in the trivia. When they use a stick, they do it this way. Thrust, they call it thrust. They call it thrust, and they do it this way. Remember, I told you that when you do slash, okay, when you do this, slash. So it doesn't go this way. It usually, okay. Anyway, there's something that we have to correct in there. When you stab, okay, when you stab, it's actually a stab, not a thrust, or you may call it a thrust. However, the mechanic should be, okay, there's a pendulum type of movement. Okay, the arm, the length of the arm has a lot of role to do in an effective stabbing action. Okay, so when you stab from below, okay, it goes by the length of your arm. It swings, okay, freely, and you are not moving the wrist up to the, okay, you're not moving the wrist. It goes this way. So when you do this, swings. The same manner, if you do the upward, it's actually swinging. The reason for that is because you would want to have an effective range of motion. If you do this, the bolo is heavy. The gravity makes the trajectory of your strike unstable. Try to do it on your own. It's very hard, and the power is not there. Okay, the power is not there when you do it this way, because the real stabbing is this way. The same in the opposite side is the same. Okay, now when you are training for a stab, you have to do it this way. Okay, there's a pendulum type. And that's the secret of how you make an effective you have the range of motion. Now, you may move the wrist on impact. Okay, so when you do the wrist, pendulum type, when it impacts, it's a time. You may do it here as well. Okay, so basically that's the thing that I want to point out. When you do a stab using a bolo, it's different from what you see in the internet. Okay, not much has been said about the bolo, but you can see if you use the stick, the same thing. When you thrust, the term that they use is to thrust with the stick. It's the same thing. Pendulum type. Okay, I have only seen one tutorial by a grandmaster, okay, that does similar to us. I took a look at the other day, and I just won't mention the names, okay, but generally what we see on the internet is something that's different from what we're teaching. Okay, when you stab, you use a pendulum, even upward. Okay, the principle is applied even in golf and in the bat using a baseball. Okay, you'll note that in golf the left hand is the guide. It would tell you how the distance between the ball that you're striking. Okay, and the strength is actually with the left arm as well. See, the left arm is held at the same length. Okay, and when you strike with a golf, it's the same. Okay, you don't change. It's that principle is the same that we hold to when we do a stab. Okay, okay. So folks, that's how you have to do it. Okay, now we have to do it this way. Okay, that's a triangle slash slash slash. When you stab it, that's a pendulum. Okay, that's a pendulum. Then it's a pendulum. Okay, but then you slash, then do this, slash, slash, stab, slash, stab, slash, stab, slash, or you do a slash, then stab, a slash, then a stab. Okay, so that's how it is. So you have seen the preview. Okay, in the entry of my video, there is how we do it. Okay. Okay, so much for that. Let's talk about some trivia. Okay, some trivia. This is very much related to our topic, but I show you some trivia that is widespread all over. Okay, from the time on that arnis kali eskrima has been incorporated in physical education in elementary or in the grade school in the Philippines. A lot of misunderstanding about how we strike in kali is seen in the internet. Okay, now let's clarify some things. So I hope you're familiar with the 12 basic strikes or basic 12 strikes. I don't know how they do it. They call it basic strikes in arnis. Okay, but mind you, when they say arnis, it also means eskrima, it also means kali. For us, we have a difference between kali, arnis, and eskrima. Or kali is very much separated, okay, by a hairline from arnis and eskrima. Okay, let me show you. I guess you're familiar with this. They start usually with a stance like this. They call this the chamber, and you have a hand forward, your right foot. Okay, not so much, because I've seen it on the left foot advance as well, or parallel foot. But anyway, yeah, take note of how the label is and how we see it on the internet. Okay, the label is basic strikes. I really don't know what they mean by basic strikes. Is it the way, okay, the method and how you strike? or is it the target where you strike? The reason why is because they start it this way, okay? We just strike the left temple, okay, corresponding to the left temple. Then they go to the it breaks, okay. The strike is a break, and if you notice that this is a Kali strike, only that this breaks and Kali doesn't, okay. So they do it this way on the right temple, then they do it this way, chamber again, the opposite side, and then on the right temple, okay. The same strike. Then they say the next strike would be the left shoulder. Is labeled as the left shoulder. I don't know whether it's the deltoid. Some have shown that it's the deltoid, hitting the deltoid, the left deltoid, the right deltoid, and they have a thrust in the abdomen. As stab, they do it this way. Okay, so first, second is the temple, then they have the shoulder. Okay, and as thrust in the abdomen, stomach. Okay, and then they have a thrust in the chest. They do it this way, and they change position. They thrust on the opposite, and then they hit the knee, and then they hit the opposite knee, and they thrust in the eyes, and changes into the other eye, and then they strike the crown. Okay, the crown. I don't know where this is started from, because it's a mix-up. I think it's a confusion between Kali and Arnis. Okay, let me show you why. When you do this is a Kali move, but in Kali we don't break. Okay, we don't stop. It goes directly because we are using slash or a slice. Okay, it should be a slice. Okay, but anyway, there's a similarity between Kali strike, but it's not actually Kali. They call it Arnis, okay? But this is not how we do it in Arnis. Okay? This is the least powerful shot if we say Arnis, meaning to say we are using a stick that is cylindrical. This kind of strike is the least powerful. But when you hit the head, of course you would want to use the full power of a blunt instrument, because you would want to disable the opponent. This will not disable the opponent. One, the head is so elusive. It is well protected by you. Okay, by a fighter, the head is very much well protected. And if we talk about that's primary a choice strike, maybe by a blunt instrument, not in Kali. Okay. In Kali, we intend to hit the soft tissue of the body, not anything in the head. Okay, but anyway, if you choose to hit the temple, that's very hard. One of the hardest thing to break is the head. It has to have a very tremendous force. And how do we do it? We cannot do it by this move. Try to do it. Okay? If I were to instruct for Arnis, it has to be a wrist action, okay? So, the wrist action. So if you try to see it, that when you hit with an Arnis, okay, even with this you can render the opponent unconscious. Not with this strike. Okay, from here, the angle is acute and it goes down to where your leg is, beside the leg, okay? That's the temple strike. And it goes directly with a second one. It goes beside your leg, okay? A powerful shot is actually a follow-through shot. Okay? Okay? It should be that way. Or, there's another way to do it properly in Arnis. Okay, if you do the stance this way, the normal stance is not this way. You don't go to a fight like this. It's always cover, even with a stick. Okay, your normal stance should be this way, whether a stick or a ball or a knife. If you are right-handed, the left foot is forward, your left arm is forward. The strong limb, arms and legs are in a ready position to strike. That's normal. If you are left-handed, it goes this way. The opposite is true. Now, I don't know where they have derived Kali. When they have a fight, it's like this. Anyway, let's ignore the stance. Okay? So if we are doing this, the most logical move for Kali to hit the temple is a witik. Okay? A snap. It's like a snap with a whip. Okay? We call that witik in local language. Very common, and in fact is more common. Okay? It is also done by a wrist action that would have, and the element of surprise is what we see here. This one is a strong one. This one renders the opponent, okay, if you want to disable with a very strong strike, whether he is able to block it with his arm, the arm will break. Okay? Or if it hits, he misses blocking it, it's going to hit and renders him unconscious with concussion. Okay? Now, with witik, this is the element of surprise. Okay, you are having this, and witik is so quick, you know, very quick, and you can do the 2 strikes in the temple in less than 1 second. Okay, some call it abanico. I don't call it abanico, maybe pamaypay. But abanico is a Spanish term, and we try to avoid the Spanish term. I call this witik. Whether it's the witik here or a witik outside and inside witik. That's the most logical strike. Or you have a strike like this, a follow-through strike that goes down and beside your left foot, okay, and the vice versa, it goes to the other side, and you would see that the trajectory, that's very strong, and you can probably hear the swoozing sound of the power of the strike. Not like this. Not like this. Not in the deltoid. So, okay, the next strike is 1 and number 2 and 3 and 4 is labeled as the left shoulder and the right shoulder. Well, this is a poor choice. If we are talking about targets of basic strikes, the shoulders are a poor choice. A better choice is the side of the neck. Here you will render the opponent unconscious if you really hit. And in fact, even if the opponent will be able to block it with his bare hands, then it would probably break the arm. So you'll see that the angle is about 45 degrees. And you will note that when you do a follow through with this strike using the wrist, okay, it goes to the level of 45 under your armpit. Okay? So if you are stance like this, you turn, you do a circular move, and then you strike. Okay? And in the same manner, you note that it passes through that level of the armpit. Goes to that is a neck shot. So first would be temple, going down to your legs, and the second, third would be going 45 degrees to the neck and to the neck. Okay? Okay. And then we have the stomach thrust. Again, as I mentioned a while ago, that in thrusting or stabbing, you have a pendulum type. Not like this. You try it yourself, you would note that it's very weak, and you are talking about blunt instrument. It's different with a knife, of course. You can do all things with a knife. You can do everything because it penetrates, okay? You can do any which way of stabbing. You can do a jab, what we call this jab, in the knife. Okay, not with a long instrument. Long instrument to be effective, it has to obtain enough leverage. Okay, the leverage is obtained only by a pendulum type. The overall length of your arm is used, and it swings direct to where you would intend it. Okay? Not like this. Okay? Blunt instrument, people will, okay, you probably will disable someone if you hit it by the solar plexus. Okay, but then again, okay, after this, they do it this way. In the chest, it will do nothing. If you hit it completely, it's pushing. You probably will push the opponent. It would not render him any which way. Okay, now, I could see a discrepancy, a misunderstanding, because stabbing in the chest, and they do it this way, is intended for a knife or for a penetrating instrument. So I don't know why the basic strikes for arnis includes this. And the way you do it, it's not effective, okay? If you want to use the blunt instrument to thrust, then it has to do this way. There's a pendulum type, okay? And you don't do it this way. You lose a lot of time, because you do it and strike again. Then that's the time you move and strike again with the pendulum type, okay? But then again, these are Kali moves intended to be used with a bladed weapon. So, okay, we continue on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the knee is okay, except for how you strike. You don't break the strike. You do a strike like this and do the right strike like this. Okay, and the knee, that will invalidate, that will incapacitate the enemy, the victim who hit in the knee. Okay, after this, you have a thrust into the eye. Of all targets, why the eyes? Okay, it's good if you have handled, if you are holding the head and you poke it with your hand. This is a very poor choice of a strike. And labeling it as a basic strike in arnis, I really don't know where it has been derived from. Okay? The head is so elusive. It's well protected inherently. Why? Because the important organs are there. And if you include them to be a part of your target, I don't know. It's illogical. I don't see the logic. Maybe they have. I don't know. I cannot blame them. Okay, but then again, in Kali, it's not. Okay, when you do a kurus X, the kurus is intended to hit the neck like this. Okay, that's the kurus, slicing. Here in the neck, okay, it passes through this way. It passes like this. It passes this way. This is the sternocleidomastoid. It's a kind of muscle that's attached to the sternum and to the mastoid, and it is involved in turning your head. Once this is cut, then you have a problem with your neck movement. Deeper to this, okay, you can hear the pulse. Deeper to that, in the upper portion is the pulse. That's a carotid artery. It's the artery that brings blood to the brain on both sides. And so when you do a kurus strike, the object is a soft tissue in the neck. Or if you move it a little bit, okay, it's the same kurus, but you know, I strike here and I strike there. That would correspond to the pectoralis. So it goes this way and the other side goes this way. So the kurus hits the pectoralis. Okay, the pectoralis is the one that brings the arm inside. Okay, so in your hit, in your strike, this one, that's major. That's the pectoralis, major muscle, and that's what we target. When we stab, we don't think about where. Okay, we don't think about where, because when we hit, whether or not you hit the abdomen or the chest, it's deadly. Anywhere in the chest is deadly. Okay, anywhere in the abdomen is deadly. In the left side of the abdomen, the intention is to penetrate the abdomen. One thing to hit the spleen. The spleen is very vital organ. No? When you sever the spleen, it's so bloody and you lose a lot of blood. And a few seconds you will be, the opponent will be rendered hypo or could not, it would be incapacitated. If you go deeper, you probably will hit the organs. If you are close to the deep into the vertebrae, you may hit the vena cava, which is a very large blood vessel, or the aorta. Large. In a few seconds, you're dead. If you do this, you hit any part of the abdomen. If you hit the abdomen going up, it hits the liver. Again, like the spleen, it's very bloody. If it penetrates upward, it goes to the diaphragm. It enters the chest. The lungs will collapse. You're dead. Okay? On the left side, it goes up. It may hit the heart. You're dead. Okay? So we don't specify which part of the body are you going to hit. Okay, if you know the pattern in Kali, what to do, then it's already self-explanatory. When you do this, it may hit the abdomen or the chest. Anywhere in the chest would collapse the lungs. It might hit the heart. That's it. It's the same thing. If the abdomen, it may go through the abdomen, hit the vital organs. It may go through the diaphragm and enter the thorax. Then what happens is that your lungs will collapse, whether or not. Okay? The same thing when you do this. It's a pendulum type. That strike in the chest. The same effect. Okay? Slice. Same effect when you penetrate the chest. Wherever the chest, it would render the opponent or your enemy incapacitated, or maybe the enemy will pass away. Okay, so there's a question. My trivial question is that I don't know what it means when they say basic 12 strikes in arnis. Okay, and not to discredit them. Okay, I'm just wondering because these 12 strikes I've seen. My grandchildren are in the grades and they have consulted me and say, this is what I learned. What? And they are talking about arnis. But there are, you see, this is Kali strike, only it breaks. It's the least. Don't choose that because it should be, training should be, that's the neck and the knee. Okay? And the stab should be like this. And it should not include the eyes. No way in any situation can you hit the eye. Maybe by chance. But no way that you'll be able to hit the right and the left eye. Okay, in Kali, we don't target anything from the head. Unless, of course, you want to decapitate. It's still the neck. You want to decapitate, okay? It's either, this one is, it's a tigbas. It's a tigbas. Or you can use this. This is very strong. Backhand tigbas. It's very strong because you see how far the trajectory is. The momentum is very strong. You will see that you can decapitate anything. You can amputate any. The knee. Okay? You can do it this way, but you see, it's not as strong as the backhand. Okay, let me introduce to you a little things of the knife. Okay, so this is my everyday carry knife. Okay, it has as a paracord wrapped in the tan. Okay, and it's very sharp. It's actually labeled Gerber. Okay, anyway, in the knife, it's different. You don't need the pendulum. Don't need that. Because you can stab it using that method. And it's close range. So you can do it. You can stab. You can jab. Okay, one of the important strike in using the knife is jabbing. And we will take this up later, okay? This is what I'm just showing you, the difference between how we do the stabbing with a bolo, with a stick, with a knife. In the knife is very versatile because we can have any position. We can do anything. But the principle of stabbing and slashing is the same. So if you are going to develop a skill using the knife, it has to be, you have to learn how to do it. Okay? Once you have hit it, do this. It only doesn't add the wound, but it also is a preemptive strike. That the next would not be a strike from the opponent. Okay? Okay, so that's it, folks, and I hope you have learned something out of our lesson today. Okay? Mind you, this is lesson on tigba or hiwa, tigbas. Okay? Hiwa, dunggab. Okay, I hope you get the nomenclature. Hiwa is slicing, dunggab is stabbing. Okay, tigbas is chopping. So this is a lesson on how we do a stab and how we incorporate a stab in a slash. And we use triangulo or the triangle or tatlong sulok pattern upright. Next time we are going to take the inverted triangle. Okay? Inverted baliktad na tatsulok, but we still will be using stab slash stab slash. Okay, so much for that today, folks. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope, thank you for those who have subscribed. I know that this week a lot of subscribers have joined us, so I hope we're listening, and I hope that our statements here regarding the 12 basic strike did not offend anything. No intention of offending, but what my intention is to make some things clear about what kali is and what arnis eskrima is all about. Okay, so there's the way I understood it, looking at the internet from the time that I started doing this, I imagine that there's a lot of miscommunication and misinterpretation, and there's only one grandmaster I've seen doing what I described. Okay, there's only one and nothing else. There are other grandmasters doing their own thing. Okay, it's not very much related with us because it's a different style of arnis, not kali. But when you say kali arnis, then there has to be a distinction, okay, about what we are referring to. So thank you very much, folks, and I hope you have a wonderful day today. See you.